So it's that time of year again. Yes, I have a cold. Where me and every other fucking gaming channel on YouTube decide to look back over the past year and talk about which games are actually worth your time. And who knows, maybe with all of that Christmas money I'm wrongly presuming you're gonna get tomorrow could go towards one of these games. Because, ladies and mental gen, these are the top 10 best games of 2018. Rules of engagement are as follows. No game that is in either early access, is episodic, or just generally hasn't been finished yet, they don't count on this list. The usual rule of only one game per franchise doesn't apply to this video, though I highly doubt we'll see 2 entries of the same franchise. And finally, any game that includes grinding systems that makes you want to hand over tons of cash to the in-game store and buy loads of XP microtransactions also don't count on this list. So goodbye Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Oh, and no remakes either. Yeah, they don't count. And that's all of it, so hit it! Kingdom Come Deliverance! Maybe. I was actually reluctant to put this one on here because despite being a likeable game, this game can be... it's quite frustrating at times. Taking place in the medieval ages, you play the part of Henry, who's an amateur blacksmith. That is, until his village is invaded by a foreign army and you're forced to flee. The game is a first-person RPG with emphasis on realism, including brutal combat, and even people treating you differently according to how dirty your clothes are or if you smell. Imagine Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, but actually realistic, and there is a lot to like and enjoy about this one. Unfortunately, what lets this game down are the insane number of bugs, glitches, and clunky mechanics. But if you can look past all of this, then I assure you there is a good game in there. Subnautica! I've had quite a lot of people recommend this game to me, and I can't believe I still haven't got it yet, but man does this look like it'd be my sort of thing. Jump into your mechanical bubble and dive down into the depths of an alien ocean and try to survive the beauty and, horrific sights that wait for you down below. In addition to this, you have to manage your food, water, resources, and air supply as you follow the main story and figure out how the hell you get out of this situation. Originally in early access for Steam for what felt like forever, this game finally launched this year and is available for both the PC and PS4. But just remember, there's always a bigger fish. Far Cry 5! Despite being quite low on this list due to the fact that the traditional Far Cry formula hasn't changed much over the years, it can never be denied that despite this, it's still an entertaining experience. I recently saw a comment online that described this title as way better than Fortnite. And I'm not sure if that alone qualifies this as one of the best games of the year, but here we go. The usual elements such as securing strongholds and pissing off the wildlife is still there and is just as entertaining as ever, while the gunplay and vehicles never gets old. I would say however that I hope that the Far Cry series changes after this one. Far Cry 5 was good enough to make it on this list, but I do believe that the franchise is at risk of becoming stale if it keeps this up. Nevertheless, Far Cry 5 is worth your time and comes in at number 8. Monster Hunter World. The previous entries into this series kind of felt as if certain areas were isolated from the rest of the world, and if you're going to create a game where the emphasis is on hunting down large dinosaurs and tragically murdering them for their skin, then you'd like to think that the game is more on the open world side than in pocket dimensions. Thankfully, Monster Hunter World does drop you into a large open map, so you're always running the risk of turning a corner and walking straight into the mouth of a T-Rex. Which never makes for a good day in my opinion. And while this isn't the type of game you can play while half watching a TV show or any of True Review's wonderful videos, it needs your full 100% undivided attention because things can get particularly challenging if you're not careful. But you should watch my videos anyway. Celeste! Putting the temptation to make a Danganronpa reference to the side, Celeste is a 2D platformer that... how do I say this? Well, imagine Super Meat Boy, but serious. Like, actual serious. Some of the themes of this game are quite brutal and borderline dark as we explore the emotional distress of Madeleine, being constantly reminded of her anxiety, which in turn creates a kind of sense of hopelessness. And you might feel a little hopeless in this one at some point as well, because the puzzles and levels are particularly difficult, and like with Super Meat Boy, requiring pinpoint accuracy on the player's part. But don't let any of that put you off. Celeste is a deep experience to have come out this year and was rightfully well received for it.
Mambo number 5.
Dead Cells! Probably should have been called Dead Souls. Well, the clear tip of the hat to Dark Souls is obvious here, so I guess you could describe this as a 2D Dark Souls, like pretty much every other video game journalist out there. And would you Adam and Eve it, it's popular as well. Kill enemies in progressively hostile and difficult sections to earn a special type of currency that you can then spend on character upgrades. But die without spending them and those points go down the drain. This makes for a very intense and potentially nerve-wracking experience, but if you enjoy games that aren't afraid to push you to your limits, and you like the Metroidvania style of gameplay, then you might want to grab Dead Cells. I meant Dark Souls. No, hang on, I was right the first time. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate! While I'm loathed to put a Nintendo game on here because they take one look at my channel and think it's free real estate, I can't deny the amount of positive reviews that this one got and how well it was received in general. A latecomer to the party, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the latest in the spin-off series that includes an absolutely mind-boggling amount of Nintendo characters, from old games and new, and Solid Snake again for some reason, in which players go head-to-head, in groups, or a free-for-all in a wacky beat-em-up style brawl. All of the classic Nintendo characters are there, and a whole crap ton more, that we're now to the point where it's going to take you forever trying to get through every character here. But regardless, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is just as entertaining as we remember this series being. Actually, now that I think about it, it'd be poetic justice if all of Nintendo's videos on this, that include Solid Snake, get copyrighted by Konami. Honestly, that would make my year. Marvel's Spider-Man! I got this. Not since the days of Spider-Man 2 have we had a game that just feels so damn good! It's nice when video game developers actually take the time to listen to the hordes of fans screaming at them, and it seems that they have with this. Swinging around the massive in-game map feels good, beating up enemies using your Spidey powers feels good, and Spider-Man doesn't come across as a wet flannel either. Which is good. There's tons of content to find and collect, different abilities to try out, and familiar faces to either talk to or punch as you go about your business of being a Spider-Man and doing whatever a spider can. God of War! All of the previous God of War games involves the following. Some ancient god called Kratos has got an issue with another god who's a knobhead, with the game plonking Kratos down somewhere, and facing him in that god's general direction. Phase 4, initiate carnage. And it was fun, don't get me wrong, but if you're after something a little more emotional that you can connect with, then yeah, God of War isn't for you. But God of War, on the other hand, now that's definitely for you. No, wait, that's confusing. Released for the PS4 earlier this year, this entry focuses on the father-son relationship that Kratos has with his kids, as well as issues such as loss, death, and fighting for what you love. With its revamped combat system, and emphasis on Norse mythology this time, instead of the classical ancient Greek, God of War, the new one, is an engaging and surprisingly emotional experience from this classic hack-and-slash franchise. Which means that... Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. I mean, come on. What did you think was going to be at number 1? Red Dead Redemption 2! And oh boy did this one deliver. Everything that was great about the first one is still there. It's still there, boy! You've got everything. You got the action, The shooting, the skinning, the looting, the lassos, hunting, getting drunk, shaving, horse bollocks, it's all there. As are many of the characters we remember from Red Dead Redemption 1, and we even get to see where John Marston gets his scars from. You can name your horse, get emotionally attached to it, see it die, and then just get a new one. This is widely regarded as the best game of the year by many, and I'm inclined to agree with that. If only Rockstar would then port this to PC. But with hours upon hours of fun and excitement to have with Arthur and Mook Horse, Red Dead Redemption 2 takes the #1 best game of 2018 on this list. And that's a wrap from that one, but if you called your mount Mook Horse, then like this video and hit that subscribe button. As always, Twitter, Patreon, links in the description. And with that, I'm off to get some last minute Christmas preparation done. But until the next video, Happy Christmas! Oh, and see ya!
Sometimes I think this life is killing me. Sometimes I think this life is killing me.